Hello?
Hello, is this Michael?
It is. Hi.
Hi, this is Dustin from KMSU Radio. How you doing?
Hi, Dustin. I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm excellent. Is this still a good time to speak with you?
Absolutely, yep.
Excellent. I'll introduce you first to my co-host, Tun.
Hey there, how you doing?
How you doing, Tug? Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you. I'm glad we got you on the line. If you're ready to go, we'll get started.
Right on. I appreciate the opportunity to talk and be on your show, so thank you.
Yeah, so you've got a new album coming out, When Worlds Collide. What talk to us about it? What are we in for?
Well, the album actually came out. It was released in January. It's been out for a while. It is, I believe, something like my seventh release in just a handful of years. As far as the music goes, I release all of my music through a company called Hydraulic Entertainment, which I'm president of, and my business partner is the CEO of Mark Allen Stewart. And in the past, we separated my voices, the way that I write, into pretty much two separate categories. There's the monster rock, which When Worlds Collide is supposed to fall under, as well as an album called Lost Skeleton Returns and Supernatural. And then there's another side of the Michael Graves voice that's very country and folk and much more rock and roll and spiritual, and albums like Vagabond and Wanderer. But When Worlds Collide, I think, is really going to appeal to both of those audiences. It's a very, very rock and roll album. It's really, for me, a snapshot in time of my world perspective and the things that I see going on. One of the first songs that I wrote on When Worlds Collide is called Things to Come, and the spark really came when I was, like a lot of people, saw the Paris shootings on TV, and that's when I think really the album in its writing phase and its conceivement really took off. So it's a really strong rock record, and people compare it to like old Danzig, to like Life of Agony, and even like the grit and the drive of Caius. So it's an exciting record, and it's an exciting time for me.
Yeah, you mentioned kind of having two separate careers almost, the heavier stuff and then kind of the unplugged, the more piano country stuff. What's been the reaction, I guess, from fans of your older stuff, like the Misfits and that sort of thing? Are they cool with that other side of your work?
Yes. It was surprising at first how much people enjoyed that. And what I found to be true is, I've been at this for 21 years professionally. And so a lot of my fans, a good portion of them that are my age, who remember the Resurrection days, and they remember the American Psycho, Famous Monster days. We're older now, and a lot of us are have kids, and we're just older. So that the more country, the more introspective sort of stripped down music really appeals to a lot of folks that are my age and that remember.
Well, I know this the new one, When Worlds Collide, and a couple of the other ones I know you funded through Kickstarter, and I know your output has been pretty great over the last few years. So what do you think, I guess, of the sites like that you could kind of skirt the major labels and fund the records yourself? Is that kind of where things are going, I guess, nowadays?
Well, I think that for the meantime, it's a great funding mechanism. It's a great pre-sale platform. It's one, again, that my partner and I have used over the past couple of years and have raised hundreds of thousands of dollars. And absolutely, it is in the punk rock ethos, if you will, the whole DIY. It's a way to be in business for yourself, and instead of being out there chasing that old myth of, I need a record contract, I need a record company to get behind me in order for my, for your dreams to come true. It's just, that's not the case anymore. It's not like it was even when I started. So Kickstarter or GoFundMe, in conjunction with the plethora of other social sites that are out there, with a little bit of thought and some creativity, and lots of hard work, it's absolutely doable to raise capital for your musical business venture. It's just a matter of using some intelligence and really doing your homework and working hard at it.
Yeah, for sure. We want to ask you, you mentioned being in the music business for 20 plus years. I know when you joined the Misfits, you were pretty young, pretty early on in your career. Was that, I guess, was that intimidating to join, such an iconic band so early in your career?
Oh, it sure was. It sure was. I was 20 years old. I auditioned for the Misfits. I was still 19. So when we started touring and we really started doing things, where I was officially in the band, it was, I was 20 years old. And, I was launched into a real grown-up world. There was big business happening around me, and I only knew, a little bit of the workings of the business of music. Obviously, my strong points at that point, as they are now, are writing and composing and being an artist and communicating. And so, it was very intimidating. It quickly became apparent to me that this band that had such legendary status and was held up so high in music history, whether it be Marilyn Manson or Metallica, or all these big bands that cite and Misfits music as inspirations, like the Ramones to the Sex Pistols. All of a sudden, a lot of that was on me, because obviously the plan was to write a new record so that the band would be and could be relevant. And I knew, I as well quickly realized that I was the strongest writer in the band, and that it was going to take a bit of thought and, again, communication to really, compose a body of work, of music, that will keep the same sort of the same values, if you will, that Glenn was writing from, and bring it into a new era of fans while keeping the integrity of the past. That was very, very important to me. I always hoped that one day, if Glenn Danzig sat down and listened to those records that we created, that in his mind he would have a bit of satisfaction and say, okay, what I started and what I tried to create, at least there was a continuation, a respectful continuation along those lines. And I really took that to heart, and I still hope that that's true today.
Well, we want to ask you, I know the Misfits around that time were, obviously kind of a resurgence of the group, and they were in a lot of films around that time, and also you guys were in World Championship Wrestling for a while. I want to ask you your memories of that. That seemed like a kind of an odd pairing, I guess. Yeah,
the Jerry Only had met Vampiro when the band was in South America the first time, and I wasn't with the band on that tour. So when they came back, there was this whole WCW project launch that was quite a surprise to me. I thought it was very interesting, and it was exciting because at the beginning of that project, it was supposed to, we were a band. We were going to come into WCW and work in conjunction with them, and find the synergy in what we were doing and bring a musical element, a musical aspect to the wrestling entertainment that WCW was doing. And it was a very unique idea that we were driving for. What made that situation crazy and ultimately ruined it was when Jerry Only began taking it, or maybe he all along took it, very, very seriously, to where he wanted to be a wrestler and, wanted the championship belt, and was just it was much more about being a wrestler than it was being a musician. And that was just something that was not only embarrassing, but it was very counterproductive to what we were trying to accomplish, or what I was hoping to accomplish as a musical outfit. But my memories of it are, I mean, we had so much fun. Vampiro and I are friends to this day. We speak often. We had so much fun, me, him, and Chud and Doyle. We had a great time.
Yeah, I had read that you were even working with Vampiro maybe on a musical project. Is that something that's still on the table?
We always talk about doing something. Every other conversation, it's about somehow coming together and doing something. And we put together some music years ago that was never released. But like I said, Vamp and I still speak often and are just really trying to figure out our schedules and come together and work on something that's going to be mutually rewarding.
Yeah, that definitely would be interesting to see if some of that stuff sees the light of day. And I know you were with the Misfits maybe about 5 years or so. Do you see yourself maybe going back to play with Jerry only, or is that kind of that ship maybe has sailed?
I tell the fans all the time that it is not me that is or would be holding up a reunion of the Misfits with myself, Jerry, Doyle, and Chud. I'm all for it. I have traveled all corners of this great planet of ours, and everywhere I go, that is what the fans want. They are rapidly wanting that. And I would love to be part of and I'm trying to be part of getting that to the fans, to see that lineup. So the ball, really, to be honest with you, is in Jerry Only's court. It's his band. He, right now, is in control of all of the levers, if you will, that could make that possible, that would make that possible, as well as not making it possible. So to all the fans that are, I'm just as excited as the fans are and would be for something like that. And I'm doing my best to be diplomatic and get that done. It would be amazing. It would be absolutely amazing.
Yeah, well, as you mentioned, you're obviously working on a lot of stuff. You're not just hanging around waiting for Jerry, of course. I want to ask you also, I know you worked with Marky Ramone for a while with Blitzkrieg. Mm-hmm. I mean, were you a fan of the Ramones before you joined him?
Oh, my God. Yes. That was, for me to be Marky and to play with him and to sing those songs and really put my heart and soul and my passion into those songs and fly the flag of the Ramones was one of the greatest honors of my life. I was a huge fan of Joey Ramone. Obviously, I got to work with him. I got to know him a little bit. All those guys. So, that those shows and that opportunity goes down as one of the most epic times of my career. In some ways, more so even than the Misfits, for me at least.
Well, I know you are obviously on tour now with When Worlds Collide, and you mentioned working on stuff constantly. I know, like, in the last 10, 15 years, it seems like you've had at least 15 albums out or more. Is there something else maybe in the works or something else you're working on?
Yeah, coming up soon, we're gonna release the acoustic version of When Worlds Collide. I'll be back in the studio in November to record a follow-up to Wanderer, which will be another, rock sort of, I don't like to use the word country album, but just a real, rock and roll album, much like, it's a follow-up to Wanderer. I'm working on a bunch of film projects. Myself, my business partner, Mark Allen Stewart, and Larry Blameyer have something cooking that we'll be talking about real soon. Working with the folks from, there's a project called Dream Nation. All sorts of things in the works coming up soon. I'm constantly working. I'm constantly chipping away, and doing my best to stay active and creative and engaged.
Yeah, that is awesome. Well, we appreciate you taking the time out with us, Michael. It's been great talking with you.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
All right, have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.